Welcome back, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the fascinating history of the 1965 Washington quarter dollar coin from the United States of America. This is no ordinary coin. The year 1965 marks a major turning point in U.S. coinage history, the end of silver in circulation coins and the birth of the copper, nickel-clad quarter we still use today. So, grab your magnifying glasses, because this coin has an incredible story to tell. The origins of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse, or front, was designed by sculptor John Flanagan, featuring a bust of Washington facing left. The word "Liberty" is boldly inscribed above, while the motto, "In God We Trust," appears to the left of Washington's portrait. The reverse, or back, of the coin, shows a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows of strength and an olive branch of peace, a design also by Flanagan. This design remained largely unchanged from 1932 until the launch of the state quarters program in 1999, making the 1965 Washington quarter part of that long tradition. Why 1965 was a turning point now? Let's talk about why 1965 is such an important year. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. These silver coins had intrinsic value because of their precious metal content. But by the early 1960s, silver prices were rising rapidly, and the melt value of coins began to exceed their face value. People started hoarding silver coins, causing a shortage of quarters, dimes, and half dollars in circulation. In response, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from the quarter and dime. Instead, the mint introduced a new, sandwich-style, clad composition, outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change saved silver for other uses while ensuring the mint could keep producing enough coins for daily commerce. So, the 1965 quarter became the very first U.S. quarter to be made without silver, making it a historic milestone. The look and feel of the 1965 quarter. At first glance, the 1965 Washington quarter looks very similar to its 1964 silver predecessor. Both feature Washington's portrait on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, but here's how you can tell them apart. 1. Edge color. The 1965 quarter has a copper-colored stripe along the reeded edge, thanks to its copper core. Silver quarters, by contrast, appear solid silver all the way through. 2. Weight. The 1964 silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams, the 1965 copper, nickel quarter weighs 5.67 grams. 3. Sound. Silver quarters make a distinct ringing sound when dropped, while clad quarters sound duller. For collectors, these differences are crucial when sorting coins, minting and distribution. Interestingly, no proof quarters were struck in 1965. Proof sets were suspended during this transitional time, replaced by special mint sets from 1965 through 1967. This was another move to discourage hoarding. Also, the mint did not use mint marks from 1965 to 1967. So, all 1965 quarters look the same, regardless of whether they were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Collectability and value. Now, let's talk about what most of you want to know. What is a 1965 Washington quarter worth today? Because the 1965 quarter was minted in extremely high numbers, more than 1.8 billion coins. Most are still only worth their face value of 25 cents if they're worn from circulation. However, condition, rarity, and errors can make a huge difference. Circulated examples, still worth just 25 cents. Uncirculated coins, a nice, shiny example can fetch anywhere between $2 and $10, depending on grade. High-grade certified coins, MS-65 and above, can reach $20 to $50 or more at auctions. Special errors. Now here's where things get exciting. Valuable error coins. Some 1965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets meant for 1964 coins. These rare transitional errors are highly sought after. A genuine 1965 silver quarter can be worth thousands of dollars, depending on condition. Other minting errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets, also add collector value, ranging from $50 to several $100s. So, if you happen to come across a 1965 quarter that looks silver instead of clad, don't spend it, have it authenticated by a grading service. Fun facts about the 1965 quarter 1. The coin was part of the first wave of copper-nickel coins, paving the way for modern U.S. coinage. Point 2. No quarters dated 1965 were struck in silver for circulation, but a small number slipped through, making them rare treasures. Point 3. Collectors often call these transitional error coins, and they are among the most desirable mistakes in U.S. coin history. Tips for collectors: if you want to collect the 1965 Washington quarter, check the edge, look for the copper stripe versus solid silver, weigh the coin. A silver error will weigh 6.25 grams instead of 5.67 grams. Grade matters. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins without scratches, wear, or discoloration are the most desirable. Buy from reputable dealers, especially when dealing with error coins, to avoid counterfeits. The 1965 Washington quarter dollar is more than just pocket change. It represents a turning point in American coinage, the shift from silver to clad coinage. While most 1965 quarters are common and worth just 25 cents, the history behind them makes them fascinating pieces for any collection. And if you're lucky enough to find a rare silver error, you could be holding a coin worth thousands of dollars. So next time you come across a quarter from 1965, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Take a closer look, because in the world of coin collecting, history and value often hide in plain sight. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the history of the 1965 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow coin collectors. And remember, every coin has a story, you just need to know where to look.
The 1970 quarter dollar, officially known as the 1970 Washington quarter, is a common yet occasionally fascinating coin for collectors. Though it predates the popular state quarters program, which began in 1999, the 1970 quarter has gained attention in the numismatic world due to certain rare varieties, particularly one that can be worth thousands of dollars. This article explores the 1970 quarter's design, mintage, history, errors, and what gives a seemingly ordinary coin such unexpected value. The basics. What is the 1970 quarter? The 1970 quarter is part of the standard Washington quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. These coins were produced by the United States Mint and continued in the same design until the launch of the State Quarters series in 1999. Key details: obverse, front bust of George Washington; reverse, back heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath. Designer, John Flanagan. Composition, 1970 75% copper, 25% nickel, clad over a pure copper core. Weight, 5.67 grams. Diameter, 24.3 mm. Mintage figures: in 1970, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark 136,420,000; Denver, D mint mark 417,341,364; San Francisco, S mint mark, proof only 2, 632,810. These high mintage numbers make the 1970 quarter common in circulation. Most are only worth face value, 25 cents, unless they are in pristine condition or have special characteristics. Misconception: is the 1970 quarter a state quarter? The State Quarters program began in 1999, long after 1970. Each state quarter features a unique design celebrating one of the 50 states. So, the 1970 quarter is not a state quarter, it belongs to the original Washington quarter series. However, confusion sometimes arises because people see rare listings of 1970 quarters worth thousands and mistakenly associate them with the later State Quarters program. Let's clarify where this value comes from. Why are some 1970 quarters valuable? Though most 1970 quarters are extremely common, one notable variety, a rare proof error, has made headlines among coin collectors. This is the 1970-S Washington quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter. A key features of this error coin: it was minted in San Francisco, proof coin. Instead of being struck on a blank planchet, it was mistakenly struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter. Parts of the Canadian design, especially the word Canada and King George's profile, are still visible under magnification. Only a few examples are known to exist. This coin is a striking mint error and not a result of circulation or damage. It's extremely rare and valuable. Auction value: in 2016, one such coin sold for over $35,000. Since then, prices have remained high among collectors, depending on condition and visibility of the overstrike. Common 1970 quarters: are they worth anything? For the average 1970 quarter found in your change, the value is typically 25 cents, its face value. But under certain conditions, you might get more. Factors that increase value: 1. Mint state condition: MS-60, MS-70 coins that were never circulated and show no wear are graded higher. A 1970-D quarter in MS-65 might be worth $10 to $252. Proof coins: 1970-S. These were minted for collectors and never released into circulation. A typical proof sells for around $2 to $5. Deep Cameo or PR70, perfect grade versions may fetch $30 or more. 3. Errors and varieties: off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, and brokerage errors can increase value. These must be authenticated by professional grading services, PCGS. How to identify valuable 1970 quarters? To see if your 1970 quarter is worth more than face value, here's a quick checklist. 1. Check the mint mark. D is equal to Denver, No mark is equal to Philadelphia, also S is equal to San Francisco. Proof: check for mirror-like finish. 2. Examine the condition. Use a magnifying glass to check for scratches, nicks, or weak-ons with no visible flaws may be worth grading. 3. Look for errors or anomalies. Use coin forums or numismatic references to compare known errors. Any strange doubling, metal problems, or planchet irregularities may add value. 4. Weigh the coin. It should weigh around 5.67 grams. A heavier or lighter coin may have been struck on the wrong planchet. 5. Seek expert help. If you suspect you have a rare error, contact a certified coin dealer or send it to a grading survey. Tips for collectors: start a Washington quarter collection. Building a full set from 1932 to 1998, pre-state quarters, is a rewarding hobby. Use coin albums or folders to organize quarters by year and mint mark. Avoid cleaning coins. This destroys their numismatic value. Attend coin shows or join online forums like CoinTalk or PCGS for community knowledge. Feature common 1970 quarter rare 1970-S error quarter composition: copper nickel clad struck on silver Canadian coin. Mintage hundreds of millions, possibly only a few known. Value $0.25 to $10. Typical $5,000, $35,000 plus mint marks P, D, SS. Proof only. Collectability low to moderate, extremely high. The 1970 Washington quarter is a coin with two faces. On one hand, a common, everyday piece of US currency. On the other, a fascinating and rare collector's item under the right conditions. If you have a 1970 quarter in your pocket, chances are it's worth just 25 cents, but a rare error, such as the 1970-S struck on a 1941 Canadian coin, could be hiding in plain sight. For casual collectors, it's a great entry point into understanding minting errors, grading, and value assessment. And for lucky few, a single quarter could be worth thousands of dollars.